Folks, welcome to Retro Reload. I am your host, DashV, and with me I have my co-hosts, T. Pugmire.
T. Pugmire. Yes.
And Fighter Pilot.
And Spider Pilot. See, I cut off Tyler, so I was gonna let Jeremy do his own intro, but he was probably just waiting for me to intro him. So yes, you have the three of us. You have Fighter Pilot, also known as the Red Bearded Gamer.
Which
and
is
we have
grown
T.
back
Pugmire.
now.
What was that?
Yeah, finally grew it back.
You grew it back? Oh, you have to do a shot sometime during the show where we see the beard.
Alright.
So, and make sure that the camera is far enough away from your face that we know it's actually your beard.
Okay.
Whoa, what was that? Oh, it's inappropriate. We're a child show.
Think of the children.
So, anywho, it's the first show that we've had here on the West Coast after Christmas. So, for this show, we're going to cover the news first, but then coming up after the news, we're going to be talking about Xbox One versus PlayStation 4. My opinion on, which is better, and keep in mind, I've only had these for about a week and a half, so, what I'm going to say surely will, shock and offend both parties. But keep in mind, I'm well aware it's only been a week and a half. My opinion can and probably will change of these consoles over time. So take this more of my initial impression as to, which I think will last the test of time. And we'll just find out probably in a couple, several episodes from now, later in this year. We might do some follow-ups, and you'll see how and if my opinion has changed. So. Another topic that we have is what's our second topic, Jeremy?
Christmas loot. What did everybody get?
Yes.
Gaming-wise.
Christmas loot.
Yes.
And then if we have time, we might even discuss some of our goals, some of our gaming goals for 2016.
And Tyler has a special announcement.
Tyler does have a special announcement. But before Tyler's special announcement, the news that I wanted to make known for you guys, Hyperkin, in the middle of December, I believe it was December 9th, released a new firmware for the Retron 5 gaming console. They only released, for a while, about a year ago, they were releasing firmwares almost every week. It was pretty amazing. And then last year, they only released 3 firmwares the entire year. They introduced fast loading, so the loading of cartridges was much, much improved in speed. And then they did an update for to support some stuff in upcoming hardware that they have not yet announced exactly what that means. And then this latest one was supposed to improve compatibility, which some report that it has. However, myself and another gamer on retro5.net discovered a nasty bug that they're currently working on. So my advice to you is do not update to 2.3 beta 2. Stay on. Let me make sure I get this correct, actually.
The one before.
What's that?
Say it with the one you had before.
I want to. Yeah. Well, there's one that's good and there's one that's bad. I want to make sure that I get these correct. Actually, why don't we do this? Oh, no, I'm almost there. I was gonna say, Tyler, do your announcement, but I don't want to miss out on your. Yes. So. Okay. The one to watch out for, I misspoke. The 2.3 Beta 3 do not download. The problem with 2.3 Beta 3 is that 2.3 Beta 3 actually broke compatibility with the Sega Master System converter. So no matter which game you plug in, the Retron 5, when you go to fire up the game, it will dump the ROM and load it and identify it correctly. But as soon as you go to start the game, it will constantly alert you that the cartridge has been removed, which basically makes the game unplayable. So I have reported it direct to Hyperkin. We have a good relationship here at Retro Reload with Hyperkin in the back channels. So I contacted them. Actually, I think it was like New Year's. I contacted him and was like, "Hey, bro, just so you know, this doesn't work." And they're currently in their QA and in their development teams looking into it. I did help them reproduce it, provided some videos of the bug in action, because initially they weren't able to reproduce it. The normal power base converter behaves differently than the power base mini. The problem isn't as severe with the power-based converter, depending on the game, but the problem is still there. And then I even rolled back to 2.3 beta 2 and proved no problems with 2.3 beta 2, 2.3 beta 3. Not a single one of my games in my Master System collection is playable. So if you want to play Master System games, avoid 2.3 beta 3, stick with 2.3 beta 2. So, Tyler, on to your news. I'm excited for this one.
So
Okay. So, starting on January 20th, we are going to be having a contest at VG Collect because it is the 5th anniversary, 5th birthday, what you want to call it. So it's been 5 years in January 20th. So we decided, I kind of decided it'd be fun to have a little contest, give away some prizes, and we kind of went back and forth on the prizes because, I mean, let's face it, it's a worldwide thing, you know. And we thought, all right, so we give away a game, and then what if it doesn't work in a different region? So we kind of went back and forth on prizes, and we finally figured out, we're like, you know what, to hell with it. We're going to let you guys decide. So basically, for the first place winner, you get any game you want, up to $60. You pick the game, and I'll buy it and send it to you. Second place, you get a $20 gift card, which is not to GameStop. And the third prize is a pro subscription to VG Collect for, I think, a year or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are excellent. Those are all excellent prizes.
You guys should do one gag gift. That'd be great.
So how does the prize thing work? Is it like everybody's names get dumped into a hat? Is it do we have to do something to contribute to VG Collect? Like, do you have the details yet or not yet?
Yeah, I'm kind of working on them still, but what I can tell you is that there is a picture out there, and I took the picture myself this morning actually. And it's a big, huge pile of games, and who can correctly guess the amount of the number of games in this big picture will win. Whoever gets the closest or actually gets it, and we'll go from there.
Oh, wow. And you physically counted all those games, so you know for sure.
Yeah, I did it myself this morning, so yeah.
So these are games from your collection then?
Yeah.
I hope you didn't use all the games in your collection.
No, I didn't.
Crop the photo a bit, because otherwise I just like do I export your collection to CSV and I just...
No, I didn't do that. Because I thought about
that. DashV!
No, so it's a random selection of games from all the different systems that I have.
Nice.
And so there's going to be a post on VG Collect here in the next couple of days, because we're going to start it on the 20th and it's going to go for a week. So
That's
then
really great.
You have
that
1
really
week
cool.
to guess, and we'll let whoever gets the closest get the prizes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
we just wanted to kind of do something fun for everybody for making this kind of a big success, and it's taken off better than any of us had ever thought it would. So
sign up for bgcollect.com if you want in on this section.
Exactly, and it's going to be on the forums. So you have to, even if you have a VG Collect account, you have to have a forum account. So log into the forums, and you have to do it before the 20th.
So log in. So create an account on VG Collect in the forums before the 20th.
Yeah.
Check out the picture that you posted of a selection of games from your collection, and whoever can collect, or whoever gets closest to guessing the correct number of games in the picture, which only you know, will win the prize. So we know that if T. Pugmire wins, that it was fixed.
No, and so the staff of the site's we're not going to participate in it.
A new member of Pugmire T is going to win it all.
I've never been so happy to not be staff of VG Collect.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's we just wanted to kind of say thanks and just throw something out there. So.
That's really neat. That's really neat. I do have to say, one of the things that I thought was pretty cool this year, I did it last year. It was pretty cool last year too. The Secret Santa that they do for VG Collect is just great.
Yeah, I've done it every year, and I love it. I mean, it's one of my favorite things about the site is the just everybody and coming together, and I don't know, it's just fun.
Absolutely. So, the next topic. Do we want to go over our Christmas acquisitions first, and then we'll
Well,
close.
it makes more sense if we go gifts first, then we can transition to your ideas, because you know what you got for Christmas.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So let's do the Christmas stuff first, because mine are kind of intertwined, right? Like, obviously, I didn't, like, only Christmas can something like this happen, where, like, you get both consoles out of nowhere.
All right, so you want to go first, Pugmire? Anything?
Sure, I didn't get anything. I really didn't. In my family, we don't really do presents for the adults. We do it for the kids. So, I mean, my parents gave me some money, you know, and I bought a freezer. I guess that, you know.
I was gonna say, did you get $60 to spend on the game of your choice and a $20 GameStop certificate? Are you re-gifting?
No.
You bought a freezer in wintertime in Utah.
You know, a freezer though. As a gamer, I am all kinds of, you know, jealous of the fact that you got a freezer. Now, I do have a fridge up here, right? Everybody can see the mini fridge.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I wanted to get a freezer for a while because I have the, I've started buying a bunch of the, I live in California now, but I used to live in New York until like 3 years ago. And so I miss all this food from New York that, you know, it doesn't make sense to buy like 1 or 2 packages of hot dogs or whatever, you know, and spend like $50. But at the same time, like, to get a crate of hot dogs for $100 doesn't make much sense either unless you got a way to freeze them. So I could have either gotten these or a freezer, and I picked these. Part of me is regretting that decision, but we'll get back to that later.
Those hot dogs, I knew that would come up today.
White Hots, my friend, only in central New York. But so okay, so you got the freezer. Was it a big? Yeah. Tell us a bit more about this. Is this a big? Is it a stand-up freezer? Is it a wide freezer?
It's a wide chest freezer. You know,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, just enough to get some stuff from Costco and throw it in there. You know.
So all right, time to play Truth or Dare, right? So I'm gonna ask you the question, and if you don't want to answer it, you could take a dare.
Okay.
Have you, and tell the truth, right? Have you yet lifted open the freezer, grabbed a package out of it, and went da-na-na-na-na?
No.
Like Link?
Exactly. Like Link from. See, I would want like one of the wide freezers just for that. Like every time, like my wife would be like, "Can you go downstairs and get some steaks or some chicken or whatever?" And I'd be like.
Or you can wire it to make the noise from some speakers.
I would make the noise too. I would do the thing. I'd do the.
I haven't yet, but I probably will.
You'd actually said like I think Jeremy, you just said like wire it so it actually plays the real sound, right?
Yeah, it plays some speakers. When it detects it opens, it does that noise.
You know what? That's it. I'm gonna find a way to somehow in the next month. I'm gonna get a freezer and I'm gonna rig it to do that. And then I will post a video on the YouTubes.
It's be 2 a.m. and Dash's wife's gonna hear that noise with Dash downstairs playing with it.
Oh man, I will never, dude. You'll never see me on the show again. I'll just be down there in the basement.
We're having hot dogs.
It's tricky though too, right? It's tricky because you can't just have it be a trigger on the door. Oh, you've got me wide off on a tangent. We're not even coming back to the main topic of the show. There's not a chance. But anyway, like you have to delay it, right? You can't just have the door open and have it make the sound immediately because you have to be able to pull the item out. You have to give it time to grab the item and lift the item over your head, and then.
I didn't think my freezer was gonna be this exciting.
Man, I'm disappointed that you haven't done this, my friend. Like you really dropped the ball on this.
Well, I didn't think about it.
You really dropped the ball on this.
I didn't think about something like that either until you said it. Back on track.
All right, back on track. Back on track. So, Red Bearded Gamer, what did you get for Christmas?
All right, so my list is between my birthday, gift cards, Christmas, everything. So a week before Christmas, I decided to spoil myself and buy a bunch of sports games that last year's editions. They're all like $10. So I picked up NHL 15, NBA 2K15, MLB 14 to show, Madden 15, and I got Call of Duty Ghosts for $10, all for PS4. So that was, a little before. Christmas, I got Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zero, Assassin's Creed Unity, Assassin's Creed Rogue, Far Cry 4, Snapper Elite 3 for PS4, and NES Remix Pack for Wii U. And this is between friends, family, gift cards, and everything.
That's a pretty good score, dude. That's a really good haul.
And close.
And you're done? You're spent?
Yes.
So I got, I don't have all of my Christmas stuff because it's kind of, it's kind of unfair. If I was to just show like all of my, Christmassy stuff, what's unfair about it is that my wife, my son, and I all got gaming stuff, and since we're all gamers, it's kind of like, you'd actually be looking at like a family's worth of like gaming gear. So I'm gonna stick to kind of like the most standout items, because some of it was really like didn't even really count as Christmas because it's kind of like my wife and I wanted it. Normally we wouldn't justify it, but like we got it and justified it as, oh, it's a Christmas gift, right? But really it was just a way for us to buy something slightly more expensive for ourselves than we'd normally get. So what I'm going to show you is what we actually consider to be like Christmas gifts. Like at least one of us did not know that this was coming for Christmas, and we were all giddy as children to see it when it got opened. My brother-in-law got me Fallout 4 for the Xbox One. And what's really, really neat is this actually comes with Fallout 3. A digital voucher, so you digital download a Fallout 3. It plays through the Xbox 360 compatibility mode on the Xbox.
I was all happy when I saw you got that.
I was too, because I was torn. We obviously got both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and the Xbox One that I got was the Rise of the Tomb Raider edition. Now, it was kind of a waste for me to get the Rise of the Tomb Raider edition. Because I already own that big giant box that you see in the background. Those of you that have been watching the show, all one of you, know that I already got and unboxed the collector's edition of Tomb Raider. And the Xbox One Tomb Raider edition only comes with digital versions of the original Tomb Raider and the new Rise of the Tomb Raider. So since I already have both of those as physical, what's the point? Unfortunately, the best bundle that I found, 1 terabyte Xbox One with a couple pack-in games. Maybe I can use them as trade fodder. But it also came with a free extra controller. So
Nice.
For $350, I got a 1 terabyte Xbox One with a couple of digital vouchers, and it also came with an extra controller. So couldn't beat that. The PlayStation 4, what was really cool about this was PlayStation 4, they announced this a couple days before Black Friday, and this, in my opinion, was the best pack-in deal that Sony did. It's a $300 PlayStation 4. It's the 500 gigabyte model, so I wasn't really terribly thrilled about that. Everybody says get the terabyte hard drive because the games do eat space on these things.
Yes, they do.
But what was cool about this was this one actually came with physical copy of the Nathan Drake Uncharted collection. I thought that was cool as hell. I was expecting to find a digital voucher in the box. I wasn't expecting to find an actual everything's on the disc. That was really cool. I give props to Sony for that one. So, other stuff that we got, I ended up with some Christmas money that I had. I got myself a copy of Sunset Overdrive. I found Day 1 edition, new on eBay. You can still find this for a decent price. I think I picked this up for $30, brand new, still in the shrink wrap.
Day 1 edition.
Day 1 edition, yeah. Now, what sets the Day 1 edition apart from the regular is basically there's some downloadable costumes, which I haven't used at all, but there's also a downloadable weapon that's an upgrade of the standard weapon, and you only get these 2 items if you have the Day 1 edition.
Huh.
So,
I would want to play that too.
You know what? This game is a friggin' blast. This is basically Infamous for the Xbox One, only much less dark. Like, take the darkness of Infamous 1 and trade it in for humor, that is what this game is. I love Infamous 1 and 2. Can't wait to play First Light and Second Son on the PlayStation 4. But, you know, this game, this was worth $30. I've been having a blast, and I didn't really expect it. I didn't expect much from this at all, and it totally delivered. See, I think that's pretty much it in terms of like big stuff. My son got stuff like Minecraft Story Mode. He got Little Big Planet 3. All of us got Back to the Future, the Anniversary Edition. Tom Wilson does an excellent job replaying Biff in the update to it. But that's pretty much it from like a Christmas thing. So I've had both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 officially, like I can use it like out in the open capacity for about a week and a half. But my adventure with these two consoles actually began the week before Christmas. So I'd learned from the PlayStation 3 generation that for a while I'd joke, right? It's common to see me like I won't game for a while. So what'll happen is the games that I typically play run out of date, and typically what happens is weeks go by, sometimes even a month goes by, I'm not even able to do any gaming on my PlayStation 3. I sit down, I load up the game, and I'm instantly greeted with, "You need to update." And I'm like, haha, Sony, I got you this time. You thought that I wanted to play Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, but what you didn't know is I actually wanted to watch the progress bar for the latest updates. Smoke, got you, burn. It annoys the hell out of me, seriously, no end, that when I want a game, I get stuck in an update.
Especially if you want to play multiplayer.
What's that?
Especially if you want to play multiplayer.
Oh, yeah, because they don't let you connect. Like, you can't connect until you get the update, right?
Yep.
So
if you're playing a single player, you're fine because you can cancel it and just go play.
Yeah. So I thought ahead, right? And I told my wife, I said, I'll be damned if Christmas is going to get here and my son, who's been waiting and waiting and waiting like an entire year, right, for the PlayStation 4 with Little Big Planet 3, I'll be damned if I'm going to listen to him complain for 6 hours as it updates, update after update after update, so he can just watch the intro movie to Little Big Planet 3, right? So
especially
what I
when
did,
servers are slow on Christmas.
Oh, right. They're slow. Sometimes you have hackers that take it down deliberately just for kicks. So I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these guys out of the box, I'm going to hook them in, and I'm going to download the updates, and have that all out of the way. So Christmas morning, we get them, and it's just plug him in, and he can game on, right?
Yes.
So besides the games that I showed, right, I actually have 11 games total for the PlayStation 4, and obviously the PlayStation 4 itself required an update, and those weren't too bad. Like, I have to admit, like, the PlayStation 4, I was surprised. I didn't see it doing update after update after update. I only remember it actually doing one download of updates, and then it basically, it was all about games at that point. And so the PlayStation 4 did pretty darn good, rolling up the updates. It only restarted itself, I think, once. Maybe it was more than that, but if it was, I didn't notice it. So I just set it up, connected it, let it do its update thing, and then after that I started popping games in. And the games are what kicked my butt. Like, all 11 games required an update. Not a single one of those games was update free.
Huh.
And some of these games, like I'm sorry, I'm not on Xbox yet. Some of these games were like huge offenders. Like, I don't remember if it was Minecraft Story Mode or if it was Jurassic World, but one of those games required like a 4 GB download.
Wow.
And I'm like, update my behind. You're downloading the game, right? At 4.5 gig. So that was kind of a what's really bumming me out about this generation of console is that it's clear none of these games are going to play right on a Virgin console. 20 years from now.
Well, it's lean games on mine. That's why I need a 4 terabyte.
Yeah. So already, I think on my PlayStation 4, I think already about 20% of the drive is gone, and I haven't even. That's just updates of the physical games that I own.
That's crazy.
So that was kind of crazy. But one other thing though is instantly, right? This controller is awesome. I love this controller. It's a very pretty controller. It's very nice. It glows a nice, gentle color. It makes me feel loved and needed. No. What I like about this controller is there is a decent amount of heft to the controller. I like the touchpad's kind of there, but you don't have to use it. Like, I haven't really found games forcing me to have to use it. If you've used the DualShock controller for the PlayStation 3, this is lighter than the PlayStation 3 controller, but it feels more solid. And it's really great. It's wonderful to use. I saw a lot of people really talking up this controller. Oh, it's their favorite controller, blah, blah, blah. In the box, it looks big and clunky.
It
Like, I remember
nice in the
seeing it in the
hands.
store and going, wow, that looks like a big, clunky piece of junk, right? But when you actually hold it in your hand and you use it, it feels pretty good. The other nice thing is that hopefully you can see it, the bumpers, the PlayStation 3 ones would kind of like round off at the edge. So the problem was if you were playing like fighting games and everything, your hands could kind of like slip off the bumpers, and it was kind of like a pain. What's nice is that these kind of have built-in like little kickbacks, so your fingers can kind of stay rested on it. The way that I got around it with the PlayStation 3 was I actually bought Snap-on extensions that had kickbacks that would help your fingers stay rested on it. So I like that you don't have to do anything gimmickly like that. I also like that they decided to do depressions on the thumbsticks, because one of the things that I didn't like about the PlayStation 3 is how easy it was for my thumbs to slide off the thumbsticks if you're playing like a fighting game or something like that. With the depressions in the thumbsticks, it's a lot easier for the pad of your thumb to kind of sit in there and stay tucked in, and it's a lot easier to hold. It's a lot easier to move. Really love the controller. So that's kind of like the good and the bad of the PlayStation 4. I love the controller. The console is pretty small. It's significantly smaller than a PlayStation 3 launch edition. And it's also significantly smaller, as it turns out. Oddly enough, bigger box, smaller console. I was really shocked. The size of the PlayStation 4 is actually kind of modest when you compare it to the Xbox One, and it's super silent. I loaded up the benefit of getting into this generation 2 years early. I was able to load up the Blu-ray player apps off of the store for free. I was able to get a media player app off the store for free. Unlike the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4 media player actually will play .mkv files. So, and do your research. That's useful. You'll find out why. So, so that was really cool. Overall, I really like the PlayStation 4, even though I haven't really been doing much gaming on it, which is ironic because now we get to the Xbox One. And the Xbox One, almost as soon as I took it out of the box, I was starting to have buyer's remorse. So why? Why? Well, I don't think it's any secret. I bought this for 2 games. Jeremy, what were those 2 games?
Tomb Raider and Rare Replay.
I haven't done that to Rare Replay, but I've done just about everything else. Now, Rare Replay, I was to find out, doesn't actually contain, the physical disc doesn't contain all of the games.
That's crap.
But we'll get to that in a second. So yeah, I bought Xbox One for Tomb Raider and for Rare Replay. So for these 2 games, I bought a $350 console, right? So already, you know, it's kind of like the reason that I'm stressing that is because I'm about to say a lot of harsh things about this console and about my initial experiences with it, but I'm going to bookend it with keep in mind I bought it for 2 games. So I was looking to get $350 worth of enjoyment out of it because that doesn't even count what I spent on the games. So all said, I spent $400 to play Tomb Raider. Right? So I'm going to bookend it with whether or not it was worth spending $400 to play Tomb Raider earlier than everyone else. All right? So, but no spoilers. So one of the things that made me get instant buyer's remorse is I opened up the PlayStation 4 first. I opened up the Xbox One next. The Xbox One is gymongous.
It reminds me of VHR. Or
It is,
VCR.
seriously.
VCR.
It's like an old VCR.
When I first saw it at E3 or whatever, I was like, this is like a big-ass VCR.
It looks like an old VCR. In fact, my old VCR is smaller than the Xbox One.
That's funny.
But they do look the same. They do look the same. So, but looks aren't everything, right? It's what's inside that matters. So now we'll get to that. I instantly noticed a couple of things as I went to use the controller. First of all, I'm hitting the button, right? And of course I didn't read any of the instructions. I didn't for that. Why was I going to for this? So I get the controller and I'm like, wow. At first I'm impressed because I'm like, wow, like this controller is like super light. Now, it's so light that it's borderline cheap feeling. It almost feels cheap. But I'm like, okay, not the end of the world. I start hitting the D-pad, and can you hear that?
Clicky.
Clicky D-pad.
If you forgot, he does like clicky.
Yeah, P. Pugmire, how do I, if you remember my Retron 5 controller comments, how do I feel about clicky D-pads?
You don't like them very much.
No, I don't. I really don't like them very much. This is no exception. So, okay, super light controller with a clicky, almost feels cheap. It's got a clicky D-pad. I'm hitting the Xbox button, and the Xbox isn't turning on, and I'm like, what's going on? And then maybe I need to plug it in, right? So, and then I'm looking for the cable, and I can't find the cable, right? There's no USB cable. It does not come with the USB cable.
It's just frustrating. Listen
I'm
to
like,
this.
how? This doesn't make any sense. How am I supposed to charge it if it doesn't come with a... And then I go and I look online, and I find out, well, you don't charge it with the USB cable because...
Batteries.
It takes AA batteries.
I don't get it. Last gen, they had rechargeable. I don't get what Microsoft is doing.
Dude. Microsoft. Lithium ion, man. It's like a whole thing now. Like, have you heard of it? Really, you should check it out. I mean, it's awesome. It's amazing. Like, you put the batteries in, and then, like, all you do is you plug in the controller when the batteries run empty, and the batteries magically, like, refill with energy. It's, like, the coolest thing. PlayStation has it. You should talk to Sony.
And they've had it since last generation, too, so you would think this generation they would embrace it, but they didn't.
So, I go and I look it up.
360 had double A's.
Yeah, but PS3 had the rechargeables already.
Oh, gotcha.
Right. So now, and here's the deal, right? Like, full disclosure, I didn't have a 360. I totally skipped Xbox last generation. I have an Xbox original. I skipped 360, and I have the Xbox One. The whole reason I skipped the 360, which is why also what was kind of contributing to my, like, what did I get myself into, was I was impressed by the build quality and the durability of the original Xbox. The 360 was the durability and reliability nightmare. Depending on whose reports you believe, they had between a 20 to a 30% failure rate for the first 2 years. Now, they did some things, right? They extended their warranties and all that other stuff. Didn't make up for the fact that the console was basically guaranteed to fail if you played it regularly. But, you know, they tried to make things, you know, palpable. I was really only 2 years into this generation. I'm like, what'd I just get myself into? What's going on? So yeah, once you put a set of AA's into this, though, it does have a decent amount of weight to it. I've played roughly, I'm going to guess and say between 40 to 60 hours of Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. And I'm still on the same set of AA's. So the batteries do tend to last pretty long. Like, I couldn't play that long with a DualShock controller on the PlayStation 3. So if they've decided not to go lithium ion because they're getting better, you know, mileage out of, you know, alkaline batteries or whatever. I guess maybe, right? I did see that you can buy, recharger packs that you can plug in, and then there's a special cradle you have to hook them into. But it still feels kind of, ridiculous to me that, here we are. Sony's found a way to make lithium-ion work for 2 generations running. It just seems like corner cutting by Microsoft to me.
I don't know. I mean, I think I would rather have just the regular AA's, because if those go bad, you go to the store and you buy new ones. If your controller battery dies, if it's lithium-ion, then and it's 10 years down the road, then what do? You have to hope you can find an old battery that still works, kind of thing. I think for me, I would rather have
standard though, right? They use fairly standard packs, so you can actually.
Yeah. Oh, they do. Okay.
You can order them online. Yeah, you can order them online. You're right. Like 10 years from now, can you order them online? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean that's fair enough, and I hadn't thought about that, to be honest with you. That's a really good point.
That's what just wait 10 years for.
So so the controller kind of set me off. So then I was curious, like, well, what happens if I do plug in, right? So finally, like, I popped the AA's in, which it came with AA's, right? I looked more through the box and I found AA's. So I put in the AA's, I fire up the console, it goes through updates. The Xbox One must have restarted itself at least 3 or 4 times. Downloaded a slew of updates, right? I had fewer games, so the games took less time to update. But with fewer games, I only had 3 games. I'm just counting in my head. No, I only had 2 at the time. So I had Tomb Raider and I had Rare Replay. Rare Replay took longer to download than updating every single game on the PlayStation 4 combined.
Jeez.
Like 90% of the content on here is download from Xbox.
That's crap.
So most of them run through the 360 compatibility mode. I did get a chance to play Battletoads. That was some fun. And then I checked out a couple other games, which off the top of my head I don't remember which one, because there were games that I hadn't even heard of, that I didn't even know that they'd made. So this looks like it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. I am super bummed though that like 10 years from now, I think I'm only going to be able to play Battletoads.
So do you download each individual game, or does it all download?
Not each individual. I would say at least there were about 10 games that downloaded straight from Xbox.
Okay.
So all the rest of them appear to be on the game, I guess.
Okay.
So, but it does look like, off the top of my head, I don't remember which ones. I could do a full audit sometime when I'm bored.
Well, when I'm ready to buy an Xbox One and Rare Replay, I'll bug you.
So, I got Rare Replay I got it for 2 things: Conquer, Bad Fur Day, and I got it for for Battletoads and Battletoads the arcade game. So this is the only way, by the way, that you can legit get yourself a home copy of Battletoads the arcade game.
Without buying the arcade game.
Without buying the physical arcade game, yes.
And get Conker's Bad Fur Day for under...
Second only legit way, right? This is a much more affordable, legit way.
And get Conker's Bad Fur Day without spending $100.
Right. So I get all the updates, done and everything, and I'm curious. Like, while the updates are going, I'm like, I wonder why. Why is there a USB there if it's not for recharging, right? Like, what is the purpose? And so I go upstairs into here in the studio, and I'm rifling through, and I finally find, because it's not. And here's the other thing that kind of set me off on both consoles this generation. If you can see, they use a different USB than the old generation used, which means all your USB cables that you had for your PlayStation 3, you cannot use to charge your PlayStation 4 controller. Nope. But, I'd have to go back through the box and everything. I don't remember if Sony gave me a cable or not. I actually have to go back and look.
Yes, if I remember right, Sony does give a cable for your controllers.
I believe they did. But what I ended up doing was, because when I was setting up the Xbox One, I had to be very careful, because remember, this is pre-Christmas that I'm setting all this stuff up. So I wasn't going to have these both. It's one thing if my son comes downstairs and sees, oh my god, a PlayStation 4! But he doesn't know about the Xbox One. Or, oh my god, the Xbox One! But he doesn't see the PlayStation 4. As long as only one Christmas present is spoiled, we're fine, right? So I only had one of them out at a time. Didn't have my cables for the PlayStation 4. So I take my mouse cable from upstairs, I run downstairs, and I plug it into my Xbox One controller, and I plug it into the Xbox One, and immediately I regret that I regret the curiosity. It killed this cat. Bing! Your controller requires an update. Downloading now. I'm like, dude, seriously? Well done, Microsoft. Well done. Very, very nicely done. Dude, I never saw it coming. You just completely...
I know, when you first told me about that, I was like, really? The controller?
Yeah, so I took a picture. I'll post it to our Facebook page. Yes. On Xbox One, even your controllers need software updates.
How long did that one take, at least? Was it like a megabyte?
It took a decent amount of time. Like, it took, I want to say it took about 10, 15 minutes.
Jeez.
And oh, by the way, keep in mind, I have 2 controllers. So as soon as it did that, I'm like, oh, fine.
Also
so I went through all the Christmas stuff to find the other controller, right? So I could take that out of the package. So I
put batteries in it.
And I'm just thinking, like, oh, man. Like, what the hell, right? Like, what the hell? So...
What did the update do? Anything?
I have no idea.
I can't imagine.
It made the controller more plastic.
Maybe longer battery life. That's the only.
No idea. Yeah. It made it so it now only needs one of the 2 AA's. I don't know. I have no idea.
Huh. I've never heard of something.
I have literally no. I think what they might have done is they might have changed how the Xbox One handles controllers because of the Elite controller that's coming out. And so they probably did something that like works for the Elite controller but does some funky stuff with the original. So I honestly don't know. Or maybe they adjusted analog sensitivity or whatever. Yeah. Now that said, so I've given the Xbox One a ton of flack up to this point, right? So one thing I do want to mention is the controller, much like the PlayStation one, I like how they did the little divots in the thumbsticks.
The 360 has those as well.
So that's a pretty cool. I'm glad that they carried that over. Also, it has the curved trigger buttons. So, you know, I can now say, like, fast forward to like a week later, we open them up for Christmas, all this other stuff. For the last week and a half, I've been playing almost exclusively Xbox One.
I have a important question.
Yeah.
How's the battle for the TV going so far?
The battle for the TV. So, what's really cool, right? So I've been playing. I've been mentioning I've been playing mostly Xbox One. What's really cool is that the Xbox One has a feature where if you have a Windows 10 PC, you can stream your gameplay to your Windows 10 PC.
Really?
So if my son wants to play, all I have to do is say, look, just give me like 5 seconds to come in and set up, you know, because I have to log into the Xbox One first. Then I have to go upstairs, and I can actually, it's pretty cool. Like, you actually take the controller, you plug it in using the USB cable that they did not provide to your computer, and then you open an app, you click on the start menu, and then you click on, there's an Xbox button, like, right on the start menu, and it connects to the Xbox One.
That's really cool.
And then you use your Xbox One login to you know, authenticate and everything, and then bam, you're playing Tomb Raider for the Xbox One, but or you're playing Sunset Overdrive or Rare Replay on your Windows 10 PC stream.
So does the Xbox One gotta remain on for it to work upstairs for you?
Yes, because what's happening is the Xbox One is actually playing the game.
Okay.
But they're encoded. It's kind of like when you stream to Twitch, right? Basically, what they do is they turn on streaming, but the destination for the streaming is your Windows 10 PC.
Okay.
And so, important things to note: the quality of the gameplay. So, I didn't try to play Battletoads Turbo Tunnels But I'll actually try that maybe in the next week or two, and I'll report back, because that would be the true test of whether or not there's discernible lag. I can say for Rise of the Tomb Raider, I didn't have any issues kicking ass and taking names in that game, streaming it to my Windows 10 PC. I didn't have any problems with, perceivable lag or anything like that. The quality would dip in terms of, the bit rate of the video that I was getting. But I only have the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 right now connected through my Wi-Fi. So I'm sure if I was to plug it in through my gigabit switch, I'd get more consistent, bit rate.
Stream.
So as a follow-up, before I try to do a Battletoads Turbo Tunnel thing, what I'll do is I'll hook it into the gigabit Ethernet, like wired, and I have gigabit through my whole house. So I can go gigabit from Xbox One all the way up to the loft here. And my expectation, I'll let you know if it holds up to reality, but my expectation is that I should be able to play 1080p. Well, it's not true 1080p, but up to just barely what the Xbox One can support. I should be able to get max resolution here in the loft from downstairs. But I can say over the Wi-Fi, I wasn't hating it. Like, I was able to play for a couple of hours while my son was downstairs on the PlayStation 4 playing Little Big Planet 3. So, and Little Big Planet 3, I think he was even playing online. So it was even going through the same Wi-Fi router. Yet I was able to stream to my Windows 10 machine, the Xbox One, Rise of the Tomb Raider, just fine. Sounded all right, looked all right, and I was happy with it. So, and that was a feature that I didn't expect. It was actually my brother-in-law when he came and he gave me the copy of Fallout 4. And I said, "Oh, cool. I'll have to check this out later." And he goes, "What do you mean later?" I'm like, "Well, my son's using the PlayStation 4." He's like, "You got a Windows 10 machine, right? Just stream it." I'm like, say what? Which brings me, oddly enough, for a feature that I love so much, brings me to another thing I hate about both these consoles. What I hate is the frickin' menus are a mess. It's incredibly difficult on both consoles to do, more difficult on the Xbox One than on the PlayStation 4. But it's difficult on these consoles to just find simple functionality. Like really simple stuff like how do I redeem a product code? On the Xbox One, because I don't have the Kinect. I got the Kinect free edition. If you have the Kinect, it's easy. My brother-in-law is just like, Xbox, redeem code, and like this box comes up and he punches in the code and he's off to the races. Me, it's like I have to click on games, click on browse all games, scroll down to the bottom, and of course, like I only find this out like when I say it, it's like, well, lazy bastard, just do all that stuff and you're fine. What's the big deal?
I had to Google it first.
If you go online and you Google, how do I redeem a code? Everybody says, just say Xbox, redeem code. Everything assumes that you have the Kinect. And if you don't, if you bought it later and you didn't get the Kinect, the menu system is a mess because the menu system assumes most of the people have the Kinect. Yeah. So it took me a good 35 minutes to figure out how the hell do I redeem the code for the downloadable content on Sunset Overdrive and for Fallout 3 downloadable. Like, it took me 30 minutes. And then, like, I feel like I'm old. Like, I actually had to, like, write it down on a piece of paper so I wouldn't forget because I know if I Google it, I'm just going to find all this stuff that's going to frustrate me. So I'm like, man, like, I've gotten that old and technology has progressed that far now where I have to take notes to know how to use my it looks like a VCR. Oh, that's a game system.
I have an important question.
Go ahead.
I'm sure everyone's wondering, how's Fallout 4?
Oh, you know what? I know this is going to be blasphemy, but bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I haven't played it yet. I haven't played it yet because I am 63% complete with Rise of the Tomb Raider.
What are we going to do with you?
What's that?
What are we going to do with you?
You're going to have mercy on me, my friend. I will play it. I promise. I will get to it. The thing is, right now I'm kind of like kid in a candy store, right? I've got 3 excellent titles for the Xbox One, and I've got a handful of excellent titles for the PlayStation 4. So what I want to avoid is death by 1,000 cuts. I don't want to get 10% into all the games and then not be able to keep track of my progress, not want to backtrack, and then get disenchanted with finishing any of them. So I'm trying to be very, very grown up here as I waste my time playing games, and I'm trying to make sure I stick to a game, play it to completion, move on to the next one. So, but with the Xbox One, my biggest challenge has been there's a lot of features to the Xbox One itself, and it's almost like the internet now. You know what I'm talking about? Like you go on the internet and your plan is to just check your email, and then you see a Facebook message, so you click on it, and then you decide, oh, I'll check what's going on at VG Collect, and then you end up going through the forums for like half an hour. It's very easy to get distracted. The Xbox One interface is very much that way too. I'll be playing Tomb Raider, and I'll be like, oh, that was hilarious. That's a really funny glitch. I want to record that. And the Xbox One has this great feature called the Game DVR. And if you have a Kinect, it's easy. You just say, Xbox, record that, and it will do it. If you don't have the Kinect, it's like double-click the X button, select Game DVR, snap it to the side, and then I can never figure out how to get in and out of the snapped-in thing. So, like, what'll happen is, like, it'll snap the Game DVR to the side, and then I can't figure out how to unsnap the damn thing. So now I'm playing like Tomb Raider in a window this big with like the DVR snapped to the right, and I'm like, I just wanted to record a funny video of the guy falling off the cliff. It's not even funny to me anymore. Like,
PS4 does that pretty easily.
Just let me play the damn game. So the interface definitely, it's clear that the navigation was an afterthought. At least the non-Kinect navigation being an afterthought. Which makes sense given the fact that it originally shipped with the Kinect. So I think they still need to smooth out some stuff with the user interface. Frankly, it can get really frustrating when you want to do something simple like record a 30-second clip, and it turns into this like 10-minute swear-a-thon of like, no, I did not want to change to the TV tuner, and I don't even like. And then that was another adventure, like trying to figure out how to use the TV tuner on purpose. Not the tuner, I'm sorry, but the TV. There you can activate the HDMI input. Which I've done for I have the Retron 5 hooked in through the HDMI input. But yeah, it's kind of frustrating and cumbersome to use if you don't have a Kinect. So I'm debating now, like, do I buy the rechargeable kit and the Kinect? So now I've got like, another $150 into the console.
That's just what I was going to say. Can you buy the Kinect separately now?
Oh yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can totally. You can buy them. You can buy them separate. So, I don't know if I'm going to go and buy them yet, or if I'm just going to, everything has a certain bake-in period. So I'm sure, like, we'll resume this in like a couple months and see what my impressions are. Then it'll just be like, okay, I know now how to get to here, and then everything else is just noise. With the PlayStation 4, some of my biggest annoyances were when you go to play the game, if it shows you like a little window of like the game, and it shows you the window whether the game is plugged in or whether the game is put in the console or not. So what'll happen is I don't use the console mostly. My son uses the console, right? So I fire up the console and I look and I'm like, oh sweet, Uncharted's already in there. I click the button. Please insert game disc. If you told me that before I sat down, I would have put the damn disc in the thing. Now
Well, you gotta go over to the window and see if the CD's highlighted or not.
Right. So that's the thing. And then the other thing is when you click on it, it like expands a menu out, and one of the options in the menu is buy.
Yeah,
and, like,
and they got that.
I own the disc. I put the disc in the system. Why are you asking me to like buy it? Like I just want to like play it. Now, to their defense, the play one is the one that's highlighted.
Yeah.
But I can see this being confusion to my son or other little kids, or maybe people that aren't as dialed into like what's going on with it. Like, especially as PlayStation Now is coming in there, where like some of the games you're like renting or whatever. Like, it's really confusing to have like in the main menu where all I want to do is play. Like, I'm just one click away from accidentally buying a digital copy of something I already friggin' own. That's really annoying.
They should grade it out permanently.
They should gray it out or have a way to disable it or something. So so a big pet peeve I have with both these consoles is I think there was more focus on making them in-home ATMs than making them, gaming machines. Yes, they're more powerful than previous generation gaming machines that we've had. They've got more features, etc. But like at the same time, like most of the stuff that annoys the hell out of me is the fact that there's now this whole operating system and ecosystem of stuff in the way of what I want to do. I put a disc into the system, play the fucking game. That's what I wanted to do. I don't want to go to the store. I don't want to share on Facebook. I don't want to do any of this other stuff. I want to play the flipping game. So please just play the game.
Yeah, that bugs me at first, and you get used to it, and you just ignore everything and play my game.
I mean, I didn't mind the PlayStation 3. I love the way the PlayStation 3 did it, right? Like, okay, look, I got music, I got video, I got games. That made sense to me. And then I go down to games, and then my only real complaint was, you know, can we come up with a better way to organize stuff so that I don't have to go, if I own 50 games in digital, I don't have to scroll all the way down to the bottom to play the game I want to play. That was really my only concern. Now with these newer consoles, it's like, oh, okay, sweet, I'm playing the game. Oh, no, somehow I clicked the view more details in store. Like, what the hell? Like, why is it asking me if I want to buy this? Oh, because I thought I was clicking play, but I clicked, you know, something else. Or wait a minute, now I'm in the game DVR. Like, I'm sure, give it another week and a half, I'm sure all this stuff will be like water under the bridge, you know, and I'll know, like, ignore this, and just go straight to this. But, like, I don't know, I'm really starting to feel like that old crank where, like, you know, the
get off my lawn.
Yeah, the grandson comes over that says, don't worry, Grandpa, here's what I did for you, right? Like, I set up the TV, like, all you got to do is hit this button here, right, that looks like the little circle with the slash at the top of it, right, the power button, that turns on Jeopardy. And then when Jeopardy's over, you just hit the button again and it turns off Jeopardy. Like, I feel like that's what's happened to me, right? Like, my son will be like, Dad, look, here, there's your Tomb Raider, all right? The Tomb Raider box works again. Enjoy Tomb Raider. Don't close it. When you're done, just hit pause. It's that button right there. Just hit that button and leave it that way. And when you come back later, it'll still be there. So,
I'm helping my dad.
So that's what I've become. That's what this latest generation has made me. So I'm here. I am going like I miss the days when I just put the cartridge in the thing, turned it on, and it worked, right? So, but that said, big question, right? I mentioned it earlier. I was going to say, was the Xbox One, when all was said and done, was it worth spending $400 to play one game early?
I used to say yes. That's my guess.
You know what? I'm going to say hell yes.
Figures.
This game, I'm going to break it again. This game is fucking amazing. The game is absolutely amazing. It looks incredible. It plays great. For all the flack I gave this controller, you know, when I'm having issues in Tomb Raider, it's not because of the controller. It's because I'm old, right? So, I mean, the controls on Tomb Raider are awesome. The controller handles it just fine. You know, it looks absolutely, you know, is it actually 1080p or slightly under? You know what? I'm playing it on a 55-inch LED, and I don't give a damn. It looks amazing. The game looks frigging gorgeous. And I can tell by the production value in the game, there is no way in hell the game could have been as good as it is if they didn't have Microsoft front them some money. So, although I'm not happy with the fact I had to buy a whole extra console and all this other stuff, you know, I can't say that it's been a completely bad experience. Sunset Overdrive is an amazing game, and if you can still get a copy of it now on eBay's or wherever for $30, do it, because this is going to be one of those games that, give it another year, and people are going to be trying to get $80 for it. So it's going to happen. This is a fantastic game. Rare Replay. As much as I hated downloading all the stuff that took hours, right? Like, I gotta say, like, there's a ton of games in here that I didn't even realize it came with. So that I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I can't wait to check that one out. So there's plenty of reasons to get an Xbox One. And so anybody that's on the fence for either one of these consoles, I would say as long as the console has at least one game that you want, you know, if you can only afford one of them, get the console that has the most games that you want.
I agree with that.
Right? I mean, that's plain and simple. If you can afford to get both, stop debating it and just shut up and buy both consoles.
Rich, look at the exclusives. If PlayStation has exclusives you like better, go PlayStation. If the Xbox One has better exclusives you like, get the Xbox.
Absolutely.
Your Call of Duty, your Battlefields, they're going to go on both systems.
Yeah, and I can say this, right? Yes. If you put a game side by side, right? I'm sure if you took a game that was available on both platforms like Fallout 4, right? The PlayStation, here's what's, in reading the reviews, right, and doing my research over the last year, I've learned two things in general. This isn't true of every game. Folks, light up the doodly-doo and remind me it's not true of every game. But the two things that have been generally true are the PlayStation 4 typically plays at 1080p, but 30 frames a second. And the Xbox One typically plays at lower than 1080p, but 60 frames a second. So, largely depends on the game, but that's the general consensus. So, you know, all things being equal, like, to me, I can't tell. And I'm one of those people that's usually like a pixel fiend, right? Like, counting every pixel. Sitting on my couch, watching it on a 55-inch LED TV, Xbox One Tomb Raider looks amazing. Looks absolutely amazing. So I have no regrets buying Tomb Raider on the Xbox One. I have no regrets buying the Xbox One for Tomb Raider. I think I mentioned before I'm somewhere like 60-ish% complete with the game. The production value on this game is absolutely insane. It's a crime that it's not selling as well, you know, as it is. So I don't know if unfortunately, like, we'll have to see what the numbers are once they finally release for the other platforms, but it'd be a crying shame if they didn't make enough to do a Tomb Raider 3. So, because this is definitely the best Tomb Raider yet. It's the best Tomb Raider ever, and it's definitely better than the first Tomb Raider. So, in every possible way. Everything that I liked about the first Tomb Raider is back in this one, and way, way better.
That's good to hear, though. You loved your game that you really wanted.
Yeah, it's got, you know, Microsoft played their cards right, at least with me. I've seen people posting, like a lot of people rage posting about, you know, Microsoft wasting money on the Tomb Raider exclusive. I know by looking at the numbers for sales and everything that Tomb Raider has not, you know, it hasn't been the platform system seller that everybody hoped it was. But folks that are making the comment of nobody's buying a Xbox One just to play Tomb Raider, you're wrong. I did.
Yeah, at least one guy.
Yeah, maybe I'm the only guy. Like, you know, our Canadian viewer, is that you? Our one viewer is the guy from Canada? Post a message if it's you, or even if it's not you. Like, did you buy an Xbox One for, you know, Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider? Come on, I can't be the only one. So maybe I'm the only American, right? So you have one guy in America and then one guy in Canada. That's it, you know. Still, hey, you know, on the bright side, right? They convinced 2 more people to buy one, and they've doubled their sales.
Sure.
Right? I mean, you gotta look at the bright side of these things.
So like overall though, what's your pick? I mean, do you prefer one over the other?
This is gonna be really controversial, and I'm sure this is gonna piss off a lot of people. So, right now, right, at the end of the day, I'm a gamer, right? So what has my attention right now? The Xbox One. Because the game that I want to play the most is only available on this console.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want to wait. I want to play it now. So right now, for the immediate future, right, I'd say for the next month maybe, the Xbox One is definitely going to see the lion's share of my time, and it's almost seen the exclusive amount of my time. I'll be on there for Fallout and stuff like that, but I could have played Fallout on this console, right? I just happen to have it on this one. In fact, had I bought it myself, I probably would have bought it on the PlayStation 4, right? So, but that said, when I look long term, right, the build quality seems to be superior for the PlayStation 4. So the time will tell. I got these at around the same time, so we'll see which system tanks first, and I might be surprised. But the build quality of the controllers and of the system itself and all that kind of stuff, the attention to detail and packing in everything that you need to actually use it, I have to give the nod to the PlayStation 4. They do a better job with the bundling, making sure that you have all the cables that you need, making sure that the controllers, you know, are using the latest technology, lithium-ion. And you know, overall, like, it's presented very, very well. Technically, right? If you just look at the raw technical specs, so I'm not talking opinion here, I'm talking fact. The PlayStation 4 has superior hardware. It's going to play games at a higher resolution. It has a little bit more, but still more memory and processing power. It's not much, and if you're sitting on the couch with, you know, both of the systems side by side, I don't think you would notice the difference. If you get right up to the screen, right, and you start comparing pixels, you're going to notice differences, slight differences. But for the actually gaming and playing it, I don't think that the technical differences are that big. So I wouldn't buy one because it's the more powerful console. I think it goes back to what Jeremy said, which is the important thing. I think long-term, PlayStation 4 is going to have the better library. And by better library, I need to caveat that with better library of games that I personally want to play. Xbox One has some excellent racing games. Has, you know, the Halo series. Something I think that's going to hurt the Xbox One is that a lot of the games that would have been in the 360 generation been exclusive to Xbox. Xbox One doesn't really have many true exclusives anymore because a lot of the exclusives are going Xbox One and Windows 10. So if you're truly about resolution and all that other stuff, buy yourself an Xbox One controller and get your games on the PC, and you can play way higher than 1080p. You can play in 4K if you want to, if that's really your thing, if you want to compare pixels. But if you want to play games, you know, then, and you want to play them in the living room on your console, Xbox One is certainly a respectable way to do it. For me, you know, some of the stuff that's going to hit PlayStation 4 first, things like the new Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't want to wait to play that any more than I want to wait to play Tomb Raider. So I'm going to have a PlayStation 4 for that. I believe the Kingdom Hearts 3 game is going to also be play it first on PlayStation. So, and in general, games like Infamous, Second Son, Infamous First Light, the Uncharted series. I mean, there's just way more games on the PlayStation 4 that are going to be exclusive to PlayStation 4 that I personally want to play. So for me, the nod has to go to, I think long term, the PlayStation 4 is going to see more mileage and more of my attention, but not for the next month. Yeah. For the next month, it's all about Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah. So the other thing too is, and this pushes the PlayStation 4 a little bit out of my personal opinion. The games my son wants to play are also, and my wife. My wife wants to play Final Fantasy VII Remake just as badly as me, doesn't want to wait, just like I don't want to wait. So the games that she wants to play are on PlayStation 4. She has no interest in the Xbox One whatsoever. Neither does my son. So my son's playing Little Big Planet 3, loving the hell out of it. So for our family, I guess, we're leaning heavily toward the PS4. But that said,
I can ask you.
Microsoft did, I'll get to your question in a second. That said, I think that's all the more testament to just how good Microsoft has done this generation, right? Like, that's not me slighting Microsoft. That's just me stating game preference. Like, had they not secured a Tomb Raider exclusive for a timed exclusive, we probably wouldn't even be having this discussion right now. We'd just be talking about how great I think the PlayStation 4 is. Rare Replay by itself was not enough to get me to buy an Xbox One. Almost. Yeah. Rare Replay and, you know, Tomb Raider timed exclusive, dude, I'm sold. Just give me something of a backlog, and I'm in. And Microsoft totally did that. So, which is something they weren't able to do in the 360 generation. They weren't able to sway me at all. I totally missed the whole 360 boat and don't, you know, original Xbox, nothing, Xbox One, and I don't miss the 360 at all. So, and the games that I would have missed on it, I'm getting now with Rare Replay, I'm getting with Fallout 4. So the backward compatibility did attract me because I was like, well, you know, if it does turn out that there's a cool exclusive or something that I missed on the 360, chances are if it was exclusive and it was really hot, they're going to make it backward compatible. So knowing that there was a door for me to maybe go into 360 without having to buy some used console that's probably like 3 days from the Red Ring of Death, you know. So Microsoft did a fantastic job this generation of convincing someone that had no interest in Xbox getting into Xbox.
Yeah, that's why I got late to Xbox 360 myself.
Yeah.
It's like, this Red Ring of Death just bugged me the whole time. I was like, I'm not going to waste money on this.
Yeah.
The only reason I have one now is because I got it for free.
Yeah, so now I guess right now my attention is Microsoft's to lose, right? I mean, that's the real question, right? Microsoft was able to pull me in. The question is, can they keep me there or not? And I guess there is one last thing I forgot to mention, because I talked about the great media playback capabilities on the PlayStation 4, right? So my wife and I, we watched Blu-rays on it, we've watched Netflix, Hulu, we've watched stuff streamed from our media PC, that kind of stuff. I only gave the Xbox One one test. You had one job, Xbox One. Play my favorite Blu-ray movie of all time. Won't even load the menu.
Huh.
Yeah, so maybe it's probably just a fluke. It probably just happens to be only my favorite Blu-ray that it doesn't play. But the one Blu-ray movie that I tried to play on the Xbox Blu-ray player, no joy. Fired right up on the PlayStation 4 and had no problems.
Interesting.
Maybe just as like Scott Pilgrim.
So maybe that's the case. So that's my experience. Anybody that's watching, I noticed that we had a couple viewers kind of come in and out during the course of the show. Like, guys, anybody that's either watching us live or, you know, picking the show up after the broadcast, what are your thoughts? You know, you think I'm way off base? You think I'm just a crank that needs to, you know, suck it up and, you know, let my son turn on the Tomb Raider box for me? Or, you know, do you share some of my pet peeves? What are your favorite games? I know I only own Sunset Overdrive because I heard so many people saying so many great things about it, and I figured I'd give it a shot, and I'm super happy I did. So are there other games on the Xbox One that would help make this, you know, worth the investment so that it's more than a Tomb Raider box? Let me know down in the comments, and, you know, maybe I'll check it out. So... And if I do, I'll give you a shout out for recommending it. So don't forget about the. I think it's about time, so we should probably wrap the show.
Reminder about the competition.
Do you want to give one last plug, Tyler, for the contest? Give us the details, and then we'll close out.
Yeah. Just go to vgcollect.com if you haven't already. Sign in on the forums. You have to create a forum account to play, and you know. We're all there. We love it. Just go there and hang out and have fun.
Yeah, and by play, he means it's super easy, guys, right? By play, he just means you go into the forum,
pick a number.
You find the post. In the post, he's got a picture of a subset of games from his collection. You guess based on the picture how many games you think are in the picture. He actually knows because he counted them. And whoever gets closest to the amount of games that are actually in the picture, you could get first place gets a, what was it? It was a $60 gift certificate?
It's basically any game you want up to $60.
Any game you want up to $60 is first place. Second place is a $20 GameStop gift card. And then the third place I think is like a kiss from Red Bearded Gamer.
Yes. No, it's a pro subscription to VG Collect.
Oh, a pro subscription to VG Collect. Now, so folks that may not know what that is, that basically means you can use VG Collect advertisement free, right?
Yes.
So,
I think there's a couple other little. I don't actually have one, but I think that they're. Yeah, I know I should.
I'm gonna pay for one this year. I actually am gonna pay for one this year because I love the site. I love what it's doing. It saved me so much money and not repurchasing games that I already own, because it's dangerous. You go on eBay and you go, wow, that's a good price for, and the next thing you know, you've got like 8 copies of Mega Man 1.
Excuse me.
It's like, and then you know, it's like, it's kind of weird. Like, you come home early from work, your wife's having an intervention. Honey, we have to talk about all these copies of Mega Man 1. It's just getting ridiculous. There has to be a better way. There is a better way, and that better way, my friends, is VG Collect. So friends don't let friends buy the same games that they already own for no good reason.
Yes. Unless you want to give the extras to me. Just saying.
Right. All right, so folks, we're at time. This has been Retro Reload. I know we went a little bit over, but I think the topic was worth it. And again, feel free to give us your comments, whether you agree or disagree. We're not afraid of a little bit of controversy. We want to hear your opinions. So hang in there. And at the end of the day, it's all about which console has the games you want to play. So everything else is just one man's opinion. So.
Good night.